Hi, we have the beautiful Maxine with us today. I'm so blessed to have this beautiful woman in my life. We have been friends now for a long time, and so I was pretty excited when she decided she wanted to jump on board and join our team. So I know that for Maxine and where she was and where she is now, I mean, she's got an amazing reason to be part of this, to create the lifestyle that she wants for herself and her family. So Maxine, I'd really love for you to share what your life looked like before you were introduced to this opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. So my background is as a registered nurse. So I spent many years of my life obviously working in that field in a traditional nursing role. And it was reasonably well paid, but I guess the thing for me was it was a very difficult job. There was a lot of overtime. There was a lot of shift work, not very much sort of work-life balance. And also, the biggest thing for me was it wasn't really aligned with how I wanted to work and my own beliefs. I really, sort of saw a need to be working more holistically. So essentially, I gave up that work when I went off to have my children. I had my two beautiful daughters, and I was really grateful to be able to be a full-time mum. So I was supported in doing that, and I really didn't revisit work until my children were a fair bit older. In that time, I had also developed much more interest in natural health. Obviously, with my own children, I wanted to be going down the natural health path, as most mums do. Really, when they have children, they don't want to be doing drugs, and they're all, you're looking at more natural, holistic ways of healing. So during that time, I did go off and train as a Bowen therapist and in other natural health modalities. So when my children were getting older, I did start to go back to a bit of part-time work. I went back to nursing very briefly in aged care, which I really didn't like. Not so much, I mean, I did love the people that I was working with, but I really didn't like the medical model, the lack of holistic health, and I really wasn't aligned with how I wanted to work at all. So I ended up going into my own practice as a Bowen therapist and as an anthroposophical nurse. And that was good. That was obviously much better because that was how I wanted to work. That was very aligned with my own values. But again, it was still like having a regular job. I still had to go in and work an hour to get paid an hour. In fact, in your own business, obviously you kind of work twice the number of hours to get paid because there is so much other stuff you have to do around maintaining your business and your clients, attracting clients and so forth. And I also had been seeing that nutrition was an area which was really at the base of so much illness and ill health and dysfunction in my clients. So I kind of had the bodywork aspect, the natural herbal kind of medicine aspect, but that very deep healing that people need, at a cellular level through their nutrition. That was one branch that I really didn't have in my business. So I could definitely see a hole there really in my holistic care for people. And the other thing that I was sort of starting to feel was I'm an empty nest. At the time I was introduced to the business, my children were kind of on the cusp of leaving home, and I was getting a bit more freedom to do what I wanted to do. And so there were kind of two aspects to that. And on one hand, I felt like I'm actually getting all this freedom coming back into my life now. And I really want to be free. I want to travel. I want to be available to my children. I want to be able to kind of go and work anywhere. And I don't, so the idea of actually being tied to a business for the next 20 years was starting to really, starting to look as something that I wasn't really so keen to do. I wanted to really find something that I could incorporate that ability to have freedom and flexibility. Especially my children, even though they were getting older, they were still needing quite a bit of support from me on and off. I could see my friends around me starting to become grandparents, and I just thought that family is everything to me. My children have always been number one for me, and I want that to continue. I want to be the hands-on grandma. I don't want to have to miss out on anything because I'm at a job or because I'm seeing clients or, running my own business. I really, that freedom lifestyle was starting to just become something that I was very, very passionate about and that I really, really wanted to achieve. And I saw that happening for you. So when I saw you actually leaving your job and working from home and having that flexibility, I just thought, yeah, that's what I want. That's what I'm talking about, and sometimes I work in the evening, but that's fine because that means that I had the day off where I could go hang out with my children, or whatever. So that was really, for me, that was the big clincher. It had everything. This business had everything I wanted. It had the nutritional aspect, which is, for me, is number one in the pyramid of healing, if you want to call it that. You've got to get the nutrition right, or nothing else is going to make much difference. And then it also had this wonderful business opportunity, lifestyle, freedom lifestyle that I wanted. So, there was honestly nothing not to like. And there's been lots of really big surprises as well since I've joined the business. The community of women that I'm surrounded by is incredible. I never would have thought it was possible. After working in regular jobs where the environment is usually quite often quite negative, it's just quite amazing. And also there's so much learning and so much opportunity for growth. I think that's been another fantastic thing for me, is that after my children moving out, and really wanting to kind of having that freedom to sort of take things to the next level, it's giving me the opportunity to do that. It's growing me, it's not stifling me in any way. And I feel like my relationship with myself and my self-worth and so much has improved, that's definitely, as we talked about before, that affects your whole family, that affects your children, it affects your relationship with your children and your partner. So I'm just loving all my relationships. They're so much happier, they're so much more positive. I'm able to be much more of a role model and a supportive person to my children. And now that I'm growing myself so much, not just financially, but also spiritually and as a person, that's having a massive knock-on effect, to my children and my family. So, it's a huge gift to me, but it's a gift to those around me that I love as well.
I love that, Maxine, and I love how much it's impacted on your children too. I know you talked a bit before about how, you do get to spend more time with them now, more quality time, and I see how much time you spend with them, whereas you didn't have that before. So is there any other ways that it's impacted on your relationship with your children?
Well, I think possibly one of the biggest things as well is that I think it's especially because I have girls. I'm sure it's the same if you have boys, but especially as girls, to see their mother, you know, growing, becoming healthier, becoming happier, becoming, you know, more financially successful, becoming more powerful. Uh, they're seeing that. They're seeing that that's possible. They're seeing it, not only that it's possible, they're seeing that it's something to actually make a priority. So we're really, you know, we're really always leading by example. So when I think about before the program and before the business, when I was just tired and stressed and angry and not a very positive person, to what I am now, you know, to the role model that I am now to my children, you know, to the positive influence that I am to them. You know, that's just massive. And that's what every mum wants, isn't it? Obviously.
Absolutely.
To be
It
a
is
role
huge.
model to their kids.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see, and you have grown so much. It's all of you, and you're so much more connected now, which is beautiful to see. So, and I
Yeah.
know that you've got some really exciting things that you're looking forward to going forward, you know, not just for yourself and your husband, but also, you know, for your whole family together. You want to tell us about what you're excited for?
Yes, well, so many things, but I think that the freedom really is huge for me. I'm going to go back to the UK next year, and I can just live there for a while. I'm from the UK originally, and I have a lot of family there. I want my children to come over and explore and meet some of their family. So these are all the plans that I can make now that I couldn't really make before. You know, when I was thinking that my life was just a, you know, 4 weeks holiday a year, I couldn't really make any of these kinds of plans. So now I'm planning to go to the UK, maybe live there for a while, maybe live in France for a while. That's a country that I really love to explore more. And I think my children are probably going to be studying next year. So, I mean, my plan is really to fly them over so that we can have lovely holidays together. And the long term, of course, the long term gift that I'll be able to give them is financial security through the financial foundation that I'm growing now. I mean, it's interesting because I obviously I grew up in a family where money wasn't a very, there wasn't a positive story around money. And that's another thing that I love that I'm giving to my children, is I'm giving them a positive story around money. I'm giving them an abundance story around money and around what you can do with your life.
I love that too.
Which I didn't have.
I agree with you. I've come
Yeah.
from the same place, and I love too that I can also give the same back to my children, become a real role model for how is the smartest, best way of creating an income going forward, you know, rather than working and, you know, getting paid an hour to work an hour. Yeah. Great. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us, Maxine. I'm so excited for you and your girls and your hubby. So thank you so much.